Welcome to StarTalks powered by Advotalks. Today, we have with us our most esteemed guest, Miss Anjali Chawla. Advocate Anjali is a professor of law and assistant dean at Jindal Global Law School of OP Jindal Global University. In addition to her academic responsibilities, Miss Anjali is a distinguished arbitrator as well as a lawyer specializing in dispute resolution. She regularly sits as an arbitrator, mediator, as well as dispute resolver in various ODR and ADR matters. She also served as an arbitral secretary in the offices of a former judge of Delhi High Court. Ms. Anjali holds the distinction of being a first generation licensed attorney, a key achievement that showcases her dedication and perseverance in the profession of law. She has actively been writing on arbitration and law. Today, she has joined us at StarTalks to express her views on artificial intelligence as a party to arbitration and also touch upon generative AI, right to privacy, and right of publicity in the digital age. I should admit that I am quite excited to host her. With that, I warmly welcome Miss Anjali Chawla to our talk show, StarTalks powered by Advotalks. Welcome to the show, Miss Anjali.
Thank you so much, Siraj sir, and I'm very thankful to Advotalks for inviting me today to share my insight or my view on artificial intelligence, a topic which is gaining popularity among all the lawyers specifically. So I'm really excited to be here to talk about it today. Thank you so much.
Great. I believe it's going to be quite exciting for all of us at Advotalks interacting with you. So with that, let me start understanding on a fundamental nature, like what exactly is artificial intelligence for our viewers, and why everyone is going very pro about AI and in almost all conversations, like and what is your stand in adding the artificial intelligence into the arbitration space per se?
So artificial intelligence is something that have recently gone, viral with a lot of people and has attained a lot of popularity. Now, a lot of people do understand what artificial intelligence is. A lot of the people are still trying to wrap their head around as to what artificial intelligence is. There are certain set of people who do not understand artificial intelligence, but unfortunately has to pretend that they understand artificial intelligence. So to start with how artificial intelligence is changing our legal industry and how we are using it, let me start with a very basic fundamental as to what AI is. So artificial intelligence is nothing but a fancy word for machine learning. If I have to divide it into two manners, there is one form of artificial intelligence that we call as generative, another one which we call as transformative. So now, what is this generative AI? Generative AI is nothing but understand it like a paraphrasing tool. So what does it do is things that are available already on internet. Generative AI learns those algorithms and then rework on those algorithms. So how in English, if I have to explain it to you, that if I have written an active sentence, somebody in paraphrasing would change it into a passive voice or use a subject before a verb. Similarly, generative AI also does the same thing. Now, ChatGPT, which is a very famous software which everybody is talking about, using it for writing emails. What does ChatGPT entail? It is nothing but a database of 45 TB information, which they have scraped from various internet sources like Wikipedia, some another sources, and now it's a kind of repository. So whenever I put a prompt in ChatGPT that I want to send a congratulation email to my colleague, what ChatGPT does is it revisited its 45 TB repository, find me the prompt, reduce it into a message, and then give me three or four options that you could either write this or this or this, with certain times few hashtags as well, which I've used as a keyword just to show me that you have asked me for these keywords. Based on these keywords, I've generated this text. So that's what generative AI is, that it mimics already existing information and it gives you a new result from the already existing information. On the other hand, there is something called transformative AI, which is a bigger picture because which is changing the society as we move forward. So transformative AI is about how fintech industry is working, how healthcare industry is working, when we'll start using AI for making policy making or writing decisions, that would be transformative AI, which is changing a larger picture. So that means the new information is being added. Now, if somebody asks me, does that mean generative AI be the part of transformative AI? I would say no. There is no overlapping between a generative AI and a transformative AI. There are certain intersections where your generative AI would clash with transformative AI, but those will be at junctures. It's not an overlapping line. And we can understand it like a transformative line and a generative AI is just an intersection line, but they are not the overlapping lines. That's what I will explain. Now, if I talk about legal field, we use something, I would say we will have to use an amalgamation of both generative AI and transformative AI. Specifically, if I talk about India as a jurisdiction or any common law jurisdiction, what do we do in that case? We rely on two things. One, we rely on the precedent, which is there. And second of all, we talk about moving ahead, right? So when I would be relying on precedents and the legal things which have already been done, I would be using a generative AI. But in the long run, when I'm setting up a new jurisprudence, I would be using a transformative AI. So it'll be amalgamation of both. That is the understanding of AI to begin with.
Yeah, so I'm trying to understand, like, it is quite kind of, technical as such if you see the understanding of the artificial intelligence itself. And I'm quite sure you are about to put your viewpoints on how we are going to use AI into the arbitration field. And also, I wanted to understand the reasons why we as a community are actually going towards the AI. Maybe in the arbitration field also, you can just bring the reasons for our viewers.
Thank you so much, sir. So now, there are again different opinions when AI comes into the play. A lot of people think that AI will take over, that the robots will take over the humans. Then there is another set of people who feel that AI would never be able to take it, and their argument has become more concrete. If I see the U.S. case where the lawyers actually sued the AI, and they said that AI cannot overtake what legal instructions are there, because what AI was doing, as I was explaining you, generative AI. So as a lawyer, if I have to go to the court and I say that my stance is that bail is not the rule, but jail is the rule. So what AI used to do is AI is taking that prompt and now it is making a fictitious legal case for me and giving me a name that in A versus B, justice so and so said this thing, and people were using it. And sometimes when you recheck the case, it was never a case, but AI was just giving you a suggestive answer which you were looking forward to. So in US, lawyers, of course, raised legal, concerns about this, that this would be a death of judiciary, that how could a machine can give you a thing which has never happened. So now when you use these AI engines and whenever you type about your legal concerns, a lot of the engines will give you a disclaimer which says that you should connect with some professional about it, or this is just an idea, need not to be the final verdict, and you should seek a professional help for that. This was the same reason that it happened, because everybody was concerned about it. Now, that set of people now understand, or their understanding has become more concrete by saying that AI cannot take over. I, as a person, have a stand in between where I feel that you cannot fight AI. You will have to work upon it. But of course, having said that, I personally feel that it will not take over. We humans believe on knowledge, whereas AI is an acquired intelligence, right? I would also be carrying my experiences. The more I work, the more I be in the society. AI might not. AI cannot replicate human emotion, which is required most of the time. The fact that you have talked about arbitration, I use a bigger ambit of saying ADR. Now everybody understands that ADR is alternative dispute remedy. Again, I call ADR as an appropriate dispute resolution remedy. So now, if I am sitting in a mediation, let's say in India, when I talk about it, we do a lot of mediation when it comes to family matters, because for us, marriage is not just any institute, it's also about a very, sanctious institute. So in that case, if I say that I want to use AI as my neutral, AI might not be able to show the same emotion that I might need to show in the case when there is a 2-year-old child, involved between the feud between a father and a mother. So AI cannot, of course, replace a human. That's my understanding. Of course, it could provide further assistance to make the whole system as efficient. So yeah, that is my understanding of how AI is going to contribute. Talking about arbitration, there are so many things. Like I see AI has a lot of potential. As I said, that of course AI cannot be the neutral itself, so might not be the arbitrator. But things like case management, because whenever we do commercial arbitration, the records are voluminous. There are so many things. So what AI could do is probably AI could list everything in a chronological manner for you. The data would be coherent. So when you're sitting and doing your case, you would know where exactly to look, how the repository is formed for you. Then there are a lot of ODR has become so, popular, especially during pandemic, which is an online dispute resolution. So these companies which have opened ODR platforms are nothing but an AI-enabled platforms, which is again increasing the efficiency of the system of doing the cases. Similarly, as I said about common law jurisdiction, which is our country, India, we heavily rely upon the precedents. Then again, AI could come into the picture and could give us all the data which is readily available with us. So AI could help in multiple manners, um, you know, to resolve a dispute resolution. So I feel that it's a great thing that is coming up. We just have to learn it, and it would require a little bit of time and nurturing from our end to understand that how we could make the whole system holistic for us to use it in a legal fraternity.
Okay, thanks for touching on that. Saying that there are multiple reasons why we are adopting. There are kind of pros, as well as you mentioned there are challenges as such, and the cons. You have also a little bit spoke about the US case where the lawyers has actually the attorneys have expressed the concerns over probably what we can call as fake judgments or cases that have been generated by the AI. So I am trying to kind of a little bit think on an elaborative fashion, like what are the legal challenges that may kind of stop us or probably question us in the aspect of adoption of the artificial intelligence, especially in the field of law and arbitration, ma'am.
Yeah, so as I was talking about the US case, there are multiple jurisdictions that now talking about AI and the downfall about it. So one thing is, of course, as we have said that right now AI is not fully functional for us to rely upon the precedent system because there are sometimes fake research searches that we get. Another thing could be about the neutrality aspect, transparency and neutrality, because when I talk about arbitration matters where a neutral sits, we do full disclosures as to whether I was involved with a party or a forum in any manner that might cause jeopardy to the other party or might cause jeopardy to the case. Um, Neutrality and transparency is something that I might not get from AI because AI also functions on something called web scrapping, which means sometime if you'll see, like, if I am talking about something that, oh, I want to buy shoes, suddenly my Instagram or my social start showing me ads of the shoes. Or if I'm surfing about something on the internet and I do get those searches about buying those products. Now, usually these search engines are not telling me that based on which of my Google search previously they are showing me this, but they are showing me. So that means a lot of data is coming from the undisclosed websites as well. That there will be a big problem or a tussle where I would not have a full transparency, which I might otherwise require from my neutral, while practicing my case. So that could be one of the potential thing. Maybe a machine learning algorithm could be designed or could be structured in a way that it would resolve this problem in the longer run. But right now, it is difficult for me to understand that how I agree fully 100% that I will be able to get efficiency, but how I'm going to get a transparency from the system, I'm still not sure about that at this point of time.
Okay, great, ma'am. Thanks for bringing those potential legal challenges. Let's move further, trying to understand like on the applications perspective. Like, are there any notable applications, especially from the aspect of generative AI applications, and how these are transforming the legal industry according to you?
There are both positives and negatives. As I said about the positives, that there is an online dispute resolution mechanism which is completely based out of an AI, so it is working great for us. Then I have something like, let's say, DigiLocker that we are using right now, where I have uploaded everything for myself and it's readily available wherever I go because it's somewhere stored in an interface, in a database. Similarly, all the speaking orders and all the judgments that going from the court are also getting saved in some sort of repository. And AI is just making my life easy by refining my searches. But at the same time, it gives me issues regarding to my privacy. As I said that there's a lot of web scraping that is happening. For example, there are instruments like C3, C4. These are the application that is working in the database, which does a web scraping or web crawling when it comes to my data. So if today I make a website, let's say about Anjali Chawla and Associates, and I write all the informations about it, tomorrow when somebody is searching for me or trying to dig up something on me, they would, because of these C3, C4 data interface which is working, will be able to crawl the web and get out information on myself. Sometimes I don't want that information to be available in public sphere. Let's say if I'm writing something in private sphere, but that would also be available in the public sphere. Again, there are instruments or interface called Leon. They do web crawling when it comes to image. So a lot of time your images from, let's say if I have a closed Facebook account and I'm uploading a pictures, sometimes web searches with open intelligent interfaces, people would have access to that. Now somebody would tell me that you yourself agreed to terms and condition and uploaded these pictures. But what we are not understanding is, yes, I opened my social media account. Yes, I uploaded these pictures. Yes, I agreed to those terms and conditions. Maybe I didn't read those black letters in between, but need to understand that the reason that I made a private account for myself is because I wanted to have that information on the internet for the population or the public that I chose. Now, if some third party applications are selling my data to these AI enabled softwares to be used in some another context, that is something I have not agreed to. EU recently did a case which they spoke about right to be forgotten, and they said that when AI is giving so many information from the internet, there has to be that intelligible differentia that should be claimed, that my information should not be misused. For example, like if I talk about a political scenario, let's say if I'm a political person and if I attended a wedding in Bahamas, and probably I would wearing a clothes in a manner that might not be acceptable when I talk about Indian society, because let's say I wear saris to parliament, but I'm in a Western dress because I'm attending a function for my foreign friend or something like that. Now, during PR, if my those images are used for my other campaigning, that is going to cause me a lot of prejudice, because the population or the public that I expose to myself to there versus to here are two different arenas. So I don't want my information from one sphere to be carried on to the another sphere, because that population might be making me facilitative in the other sphere, where people are feeling much more comfortable with me. I'm more acceptable to them because I am behaving in a certain manner like they are. But that would backfire to me completely when I talk about, let's say, being a political person in India and having that image and my work being shadowed by how I'm portrayed, right? So EU has spoken about this right to be forgotten, that information which is not required or which is not catered for this sphere should not be used in this sphere. So yeah,
Okay.
these are the possible challenges that I could think about when
Okay,
speaking.
bringing up the aspects of artificial intelligence and how it is going to kind of get navigated, especially in the matters, where the right to privacy, as you mentioned, some of the cases, like, as a politician, like, you may be kind of having a different, plan, and that may not be suitable. So the right bifurcation, and I think like the sparing, classification is something that we look forward, and hope that, it is not convinced in any manner. So, Anjali ma'am, so can you also tell us how artificial intelligence, or the various implications of artificial intelligence when it comes to the domain of right of publicity?
Okay. Yes. Now, right of publicity. When we speak about right to privacy, it's a fundamental right. When I speak about India as a country, and the exception to it is free speech. That my speech should be there, but there is a very again a protective layer that has been established that you may have a free speech, but my right to privacy should not be infringed in a in a certain manner. Now, right of publicity, people who are in a public domain, right of privacy actually doesn't apply to them completely as it would apply to a normal human being or a regular human being, because they're public figures, so they're always available in a public sphere. So some of their day-to-day activities would be a concern of a public. They can't keep it private, so they have a right of publicity basically. But now how AI could affect it is, there's everybody has seen this movie Animal, and there's the protagonist, Rashmika Mandanika. There's a case of deep fake where somebody used her picture to morph it on somebody else, and that have caused them issues. Now, a lot of time, as I said again, there is a lot of undisclosed data. I don't know who used whose picture to morph what. So their right is at the constant threat when it comes to situations like these, because again, their pictures, their information, how they walk, how they talk, what do they like, where they are, everything every time is available in the public sphere. So it becomes very difficult. Now there are a lot of guidelines that have been made internationally to protect to protect these celebrities. For example, there was a very famous case which we saw on few years back. Some ghostwriter produced a song in the name of Drake and The Weeknd, and it became a hit on Spotify and other platforms. Now, although no legal action was taken because nothing was harmed, and it turned out to be a great song, but they do have guidelines where they say that if somebody's earning by your name, then you get royalties. If somebody is trying to hamper your image, you could claim money, right? Now there will be people who are very thoughtfully taking these steps, right? Because they want to be popular, so they feel that the easiest way to be to the popularity is that you uh, crawl onto something, that you be a parasite on somebody else who is already established. There could be certain people who are doing it under ignorance as well because they are not well versed. If I talk about some remote village, let's say, the name that is coming to my mind is Jatheri because my college is on the outskirts of Delhi and that's the nearest village that will be there. So whenever I'm passing on to that route, I see a lot of juice stands, like local vendors which are selling juices on their thela. Now they have images of Katrina Kaif. It is my intelligence that I understand that Katrina is not coming over here to drink a glass of juice, or a local barber salon shops which they're using Zayn Malik's pictures. Now, if these guidelines of protecting celebrities are imposed blanketly, people who are doing all these things probably under the wake of ignorance would also have to come, because if somebody, let's say, put a case against them, we can't say that, oh, this doesn't count, because of course this does. They have used the picture of a celebrity, they have used the prompts where they are saying that, oh, I had a food over there and it was delicious. So it becomes difficult as to how do you then justify that right. So of course right of publicity should be there. There should be stricter guidelines, but at the same time, there has to be differentia or reasonability that is to be imposed, especially country like ours, where we do have, a lot of community belonging to this strata as well, which might not be available, which might not be understanding these rights. So there has to be, of course, I also want the IT laws to be implemented and the IT laws to be, reworked again. But then again, a differentia has to be created in that manner so that the weaker could also get protection. Because of course, a thelewala earning 200 rupees that is not in a shape to give royalty to somebody like Katrina. And even the celebrities would also not be bothered. So, where exactly their right is hampered, that's where we need to work. And few areas like this, um, there has to be, again, as I said, exceptions has to be created in the law for that.
Right, right. So it's like you brought the real challenge. It may be on the right of publicity aspect, as you mentioned, and then ignorance might be the reason why, as a community, we have been adopted to few things, and probably the look over may kind of get changed in the coming times. Let's hope for that, as you mentioned, and we want you to throw some light on various legal jurisdictions that are resorting to the artificial intelligence. Anjali, ma'am.
Yeah, so there are a lot of jurisdiction, US being one, we have already discussed that. Then EU is working. I've talked about right to forgotten. Ireland is another one which is working on these rights, and they're talking about implementing AI more into the system. Um, New Zealand has given guidelines on how AI could be adaptive in the legal industry. Even talking about India, our Supreme Court as well, recently we have launched our transcription mechanism. It's called TERES, TERES, where online transcription is happening. So, as and when the judge is speaking or the case is going on into the courtroom, it is doing the live transcription, like, everything is being written on it. That is, of course, increasing the efficiency given that how long the cases go in our country and how voluminous the cases become, especially the landmark. If you see cases like Keshwananda Bharti, which is on basic doctrine, and Ayodhya case, Adhar judgment, all of these judgments are running into hundreds of the pages. So having these softwares, of course, is helping our legal system. We don't have any, so far we have not made the comprehensive structure of how we are going to use AI in different spheres. But yes, we are using AI in bits and pieces into our jurisdiction. And so are other jurisdictions which are using AIs. Now it'll be easier in smaller jurisdictions, especially jurisdiction coming from a civil matter, because mostly the legal jurisprudence is dependent upon the policy and legislation. They don't have a huge voluminous precedents to look over. That might become a little challenge for us. We have to sit back and see that how we're going to do it. I'm not concerned about it because India is the one who is, we have one of the brightest minds to give these technology to the world. And it won't be wrong to say that 60% of the Silicon Valley is also because of the Indian people. So, of course, we will reach there soon. But yes, right now we are lacking a framework, a comprehensive framework, which will help us to go ahead with it. And there are a lot of countries that, yes, they're working on to it. And we are slowly we're seeing the progressions. Now, talking about arbitration, arbitration becomes a private sphere because arbitration is transnational in nature. So there are a lot of institutes that are using AI softwares and tools to make case management easy, to make submissions very easy, to uh, like strategize the documents in a manner, to make cost calculation very easy. So yes, AI is working right now, and we are slowly moving there.
Great, 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 ma'am. I want to conclude with one last question. Since your domain is arbitration, how the artificial intelligence is spanning across the sphere of the alternative dispute resolution, Anjali, ma'am?
Yeah, as I mentioned again, alternate. AI is helping us with so many things. Transcription being one thing that I have spoken about. Case management is another. The documents are concluding. Another thing which where I see that AI is going to be very helpful is with the translations. So now, for example, if a French party or a German party is sitting in arbitration matters, and there is a tribunal, few members of the tribunal who are well versed with English. So one thing is that parties either decide onto a common language which is understandable by all of them, or otherwise a lot of translation that is required. So now, because of the AI, you will be able to translate these documents in multi languages without having the threat that uh, the essence is not lost in the translation. Because right now, if I do a Google translation, let's say, I would always have a concern that what if my document in Hindi means this thing, but in English it sounds really funny and sometimes it doesn't make sense. With specialized developed softwares, my problem of translation would also be solved, because when we go for execution of the award, these translation might cost me a lot of money. So saving time and money would also be another aspect if I use these AI tools for translation. So that is also an added benefit when I speak about arbitration, or any legal matter for that matter.
And great, ma'am. Great, ma'am. I think this brings us to the end of this great, insightful conversation, Miss Anjali Chawla. So, thanks for helping us and our audience understand the various aspects of the generative AI, right to privacy, right of publicity in the digital age, and also highlighting the viewpoint of artificial intelligence as a party to the arbitration. So we appreciate you for taking the time for the talk show and sharing your invaluable advice. Once again, thanks a lot from Advotalks.
Thank you so much for having me. I had a great time. Thank you so much. Take care.
Yeah. So, viewers, that's about today's episode with Advocate Anjali Chawla, which brings a lot of insights on artificial intelligence as a party to the arbitration and also the implications of the generative AI, right to privacy, and right of publicity in the digital age. We hope this conversation was knowledgeable. For more updates and information on legal concepts, please visit our website www.advotalks.com, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Advotalks.